What's up guys, this is Balázs from Racing Brick. Today's review is a bit different as it is about two topics that are not very common here on this channel, books and trains. Here is the book, LEGO Train Projects by Charles Pritchett. As you can expect based on the cover, this is a collection of custom LEGO train instructions in a book format. There are 7 models inside, so let's see what we get. Charles Pritchett already released several books and published many building instructions on his website. This one is released by No Starch Press, who kindly sent me this copy for a review. You can buy the book in a physical and a digital format as well on their website. It is already available. You can find the link below in the description. So here you can see the different projects to build. The variety of the models is great. There's a milk tanker, open hopper, a passenger coach, a powered boxcar and a very cool looking EMD FL9 locomotive. Each model has its own section in the book. There's a very nice render at the beginning with some useful information like the piece count and the dimensions, and after that you see the step-by-step instructions. There's a bill of material at the end of both in a table and a visual format, very useful. You even get some alternate color suggestions. The only motorized item is the powered boxcar. It can be used together with the locomotive to have a remote control train. Unfortunately, we only get instructions for a power functions build. It would be nice to have a powered up alternative as well. If we jump back to the beginning of the book, there's a short introduction and then we get some practical instructions about the usage of the book. You also find some advices about the sourcing of the necessary LEGO pieces from the pick a brick wall to Bricklink. There are multiple possibilities listed. I really like the advice to check the build itself before trying to buy all the pieces, as in some cases the exact color is not that important if that piece is inside the model. You might have one already in a different color. There's also a link to download a Bricklink compatible XML file that you can use to create a wanted list on Bricklink and buy the necessary parts easily. This is a huge advantage. As you saw, the parts are nicely listed here in the book as well, but you would need to enter them one by one to a Bricklink wanted list or anything similar. With the XML file, it is just a few clicks and you have everything ready to order. It is also much easier to work with such list if you want to remove a few pieces that you already have or you want to change colors. The only thing I am missing is a little explanation about the usage of the XML file. It is not rocket science, but for someone who is not familiar with Bricklink, it would be nice to explain in a few sentences. Since I wanted to test one of the builds in the book and not simply just talk about it, I went through the process and I can quickly show you how I did it. First, I wanted to build a locomotive, since that one is obviously the coolest in the book, but that requires a lot of parts and I did not want to wait too long for the different Bricklink orders, so at the end I decided to build a depressed flat car with a generator. So first I downloaded the XML file from the link. Then on Bricklink you need to click on the want icon and select upload. It's a little bit confusing here since the first option is upload a file from your computer, and that's exactly what I want to do, but this is for some other file formats. You need to click on the second tab called Upload Bricklink XML format. For a strange reason, here you cannot select the file itself, but you need to copy-paste the contents. So open the XML file with a simple text editor of your operating system, select all and copy. Go back to the Bricklink window and paste the code there. I suggest to create a new wanted list, so select that option from the Add to dropdown and enter a new name. Once it's done, you can click on the Proceed to Verify Items button. In the next window you will see all the items listed. You can even compare it with the list in the book to make sure everything is there. At the bottom you need to click on the Add to Wanted List button and then you can view the list you just created. The easiest way to proceed is to click on the Buy All button, and with the auto select function you can quickly order everything needed. I won't go into more details here. You can find a lot of Bricklink tutorials online about the fine-tuning possibilities for your order. As you see, at the moment the price of the bricks would be just below 10,000 forints, which is about 28 euros. Of course, this might not be the same for you, but it might be a rough indicator about the price of the build. After a few days all my parts arrived, so it was time to start building. My son was very interested in this project, so he was building the flat car. It took him less than an hour. As he said, the instructions were totally clear and easy to follow, and as you see, the end result looks very cool. You might notice that there are 2 yellow pieces missing from the top of the transformator. Unfortunately, they were not available from any sellers in the country when I placed my order, so I decided to skip them. As the author mentions at the beginning of the book, everyone is free to change the design, and I also encourage you to adapt it based on the bricks available or even the price. Sometimes a small change can save you a lot of money. And this is probably the only weak point of the book, the availability of the parts. If you build a lot of custom models, then there's nothing new in it for you, but for a casual builder it might be a challenge to gather everything needed for the model. Luckily, as I saw, these designs use mostly recent pieces, so you don't need to hunt for parts that were released 10-20 years ago. All in all, I really like the book, the quality of the instructions is great, the models look stunning, and I think I will use it later on to spice up the available rolling stock here in the studio. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up, you can also subscribe and tap the notification bell if you don't want to miss my LEGO reviews and other LEGO RC videos. See you next time, bye bye!